Hi everyone, welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons series, part 43. Last episode, we went ahead and started decorating and designing our island. And in this episode, I'll be continuing the same. I think we planted a couple of trees, and I'm just gonna see if all of them have grown up. Unfortunately, I didn't get too much time to play this game offline, so I haven't really done too much progress. Anyway, let's quickly check out what Isabel has to say right here before we move on with the designing of the island. Alright, nothing new. I guess CJ is on the island, which is something I have been trying to avoid. Once we do get the island completely designed, I'll go ahead and talk to both Flick as well as CJ. Right here, we don't really have any mail for today, which is a bit surprising, but I guess I'll take it. Let's quickly get down and I'll walk through everything that has happened. So here are all of the trees that I did plant in the previous episode, and almost all of them are fully grown. I think we need one more day for them to grow completely. Here are the other ones. As you can see, all the trees are growing pretty fine, so I don't think I do have to worry about changing their place. As for the update that I did do offline, here it is. This is the pathway that I created offline. For the design, I did use the darker greener path, and as you can see, it looks super cool. Definitely it's a path that I might use right next to the shop here as well. But the design is not yet complete for that path. Even though I have placed all of those items, couple of them I'm not too satisfied with, so I might actually change it out. As for my pockets, it's actually currently full. I just have all the items that I might need. Definitely have quite a lot of different kinds of fences. All of these were the ones that we have been collecting till now, and I think it's time for me to kind of use them all in different areas. I guess we could use one right here. This is the country fence, and I think it looks super cute. I'm also planning to go ahead and plant some sprouts, just like the one I did plant right here. Unfortunately, if I do run out of these, I have to make my way to Harvey's Island to buy more, but for now I think we are good. Let's quickly go ahead and check out today's shop before we go with the design. Alright, we have an antique chair. I guess it's an antique chair. But all three items are something that I really need. Ooh, alright, this is actually the Imperial dining chair. I'm actually gonna go ahead and buy it. I haven't really found the Imperial dining table though. If I do get that item, I think this chair will go well with it. Unfortunately, my pockets are completely full, so I am having a bit of trouble buying all of these items. And this might be the case from now on, since I will be carrying a lot of different items in my pocket when I am designing the island. As for the other two items here, I'm not gonna be buying anything for now. I guess we can actually go ahead and deposit most of these items back at my house and have my pocket a bit more clearer to go ahead and design. While making my way back home, I did see the resident services building, so I just wanted to go ahead and check it out. I guess the more important thing for me is Nook Stop, since I have been trying to find some items that will only get through Nook Stop, and hopefully one of these days I do get it. Apparently this is not that day. Unfortunately, I haven't really found it here yet. By the way, if you are wondering what the items are, it's actually cactus and a pine tree. Hopefully these two items I'll be able to find here one of these days. Now that I have my pockets cleared out, I'm gonna go ahead and place some more items around here. So here we have a cypress plant that I wanted to place right next to the house. I think this looks good. As for the other side of the house, I think I'll be planning to kind of update it in the next episode. For this one, we'll go ahead and make some changes on the trees that we have planted, as well as update this path itself. Might have to remove some of these sprouts that I have been planting around here. I feel like there are way too many on this path. But once I do have the tree completely grown, I'll be able to then make some required changes. And here I placed the birdhouse. I think that one looks weird, but as for now I don't really have too many outdoor items, so I do have to kind of use the ones I have. Maybe in the next episode I'll go ahead and craft some items before I start the episode, so I'll have some outdoor items that I can actually place around here. Usually when I do plant a tree on my island, I like to surround it with this dark dirt path. This is something that I really like to place all around any of the trees that I do find, and I'll try to do this for almost all the trees I do plant. Might not be a complete circle to the tree itself, but something like this. I think this looks good. Particularly this one, I think I've done this for all of my previous islands, even to the very first island I created with this game. So this is something like a ritual for me. Whenever I plant a tree, I go ahead and surround it with the dark dirt path and try to add some designs like this one. Once I do complete designing this part of the trees, I'll go ahead and do the same to the other side of this riverbed as well. Alright, we are almost done. I don't really like to cover it with all the designs. For some of them I do like to plant some flowers or some sprouts, which I think will look good. For these trees I did decide to go ahead and surround them with the dirt path. I think this one looks good. Maybe I'll be able to place an item in the front to kind of cover up the trees and make it look mysterious. I might not be able to do that right now since I don't really have any outdoor items. Instead, I was just shaking the tree to see if a branch will fall down without realizing that these trees are not completely grown. So I just left it. Maybe we'll be able to do that once these trees are fully grown, which might be once I do time travel in this episode. Anyway, the next thing I did was go ahead and place some fences around it. This should be good. The lace fence right here is one of the prettiest fence, and I really like its design. Next thing to do is go ahead and see if I can plant some shrubs around here. I added one there and two fences here, but I thought that two of them might be a bit more tacky, so went ahead and planted a tomato starter. I'm also planning to add an item right next to the border of the beginning path. Maybe an item like a potted plant or a small stool to sit down. As for this one, I got momentarily distracted with this tree, which I actually didn't see until this point where I was planting some shrubs right there. To be honest, right now I didn't have that much of idea on what to do, so I visited Javi's island to buy some stuff and I'm back. I think I'll go ahead and make some design on this side of the tree line, and maybe I'll be able to figure out something. Usually I just have the design for the cliffs on the island, but definitely not on how the items are supposed to be placed or where the trees are gonna go. So this is something I do figure out when I am playing the game itself, and that's what I'm trying to do right here as well. Let me know in the comment section if this is something that you do, or you already have a set design of where you want to place all of your items before you start placing them. But of course, here is my current design. As you can see, I did go ahead and plant some shrubs in the end, I guess right next to the riverbed, and that was mainly to go ahead and kind of block any rocks or any kind of unwanted plants kind of growing over there. Other than that, I'm just going to go ahead and make some changes on the design on this particular path. As you can see, I didn't really like the last two part of it, so I had to go ahead and erase it out. Now that we have this completed, let me quickly go ahead and go to the next day. This will actually go ahead and help me visualize that part of the island a bit more, so that I can go ahead and add some flowers or any other outdoor item that I might need over there. As usual, we had a broadcast from Isabel, but I guess it's nothing new. We just have Label coming over. Yesterday, when I visited Harvey's Island, I did go ahead and buy a statue. I think that's what we have right here on the mailbox. I haven't really ordered any item as such, so we don't really have any other item from either Nook Stop or a gift present from any of the villager. Let's quickly go ahead and open up this present. And there we go, we have the robust statue. Since this is the 4th day, all of my trees are completely grown up and they do have all the different kinds of fruits which I really like. I also went ahead and dug up some flowers which I did actually plant right next to the ocean, and I'm just gonna go ahead and plant them right here in front of the island. I think this will actually look pretty good. I was also able to find some branches which I'm just dropping over here. I know that Isabel will actually stop us if we do kind of drop too many items on the island, so this is something I have to be a bit careful. But other than that, I think the front part of this island looks super cool. Let me know in the comment section if you think so as well, or if you'd like me to change something around here. I've also gone ahead and planted another tree here. I'm just gonna go ahead and design it a bit more, but I'm not really sure if this tree will actually completely grow out. Maybe I'll have to wait for it to actually grow. If it doesn't, I'll go ahead and cut it down. Now I do have to design this part of the island as well. As you can see, the trees are growing up, but except this one though, this one is not growing up, which I'm not really sure why. Maybe it's because I actually dug it up and placed it in a newer place. I'm not really sure, but I'm just gonna keep it there and see if it will grow completely in a few days. If not, I'll go ahead and remove it. Unfortunately for me, one of my villagers is just in the way. I mean, come on, I'm just designing, so please let me design. I guess all of the villagers definitely do this. I ended up pushing him away just to go ahead and apply some designs on the path right here, which I think will look good once I completely design this whole area. Once again, I'm planning to go ahead and plant some flowers around here, which I think will look super cool, as well as a bit more sprouts. Since my island does have the beautiful flower ordinance, I was excited to see a purple flower on my island, which is very rare. This one was actually a surprise. I didn't really plan a flower to get this, but since I did have a couple of flowers aside, which was actually there on my island, I actually ended up getting some purple flowers, which I think look super cute. Anyway, let me continue designing this part of the island as well. I definitely think I'm one of those players who like to have a path on each and every square of this island. I really do not like to just leave the island bare. Let me know in the comment section if you're one of those players who likes to just have all of the squares completely designed. I have seen so many people where a part of their island is just empty, where they haven't really put a path, but it does look super cool. But I have tried that so many times, but it did not really work out with me, so I just ended up kind of adding path on each and every part of my island. That's definitely what I'm trying to plan on this island as well. Hopefully we'll be able to get it going. Anyway, today we are definitely focusing on the first part of the island where we have planted all of these trees. Now I do have a bit more squares of tiles right here, which actually don't have any design, so I might be able to make some design here. I decided to add a stone path here, which I think I really like. When I actually added the stone path onto my custom design squares, I wasn't really sure if I wanted to use it, but after seeing it right here, I might actually use this more than what I think. Let's see if that actually happens. Other than this side of the river, I do have to go to the other side and fill up the 2 trees that I actually missed. These are the 2 trees, and I definitely have to surround the brown path over here as well. I guess we could actually do this in this episode, because why not? We still have a bit more time. Now I did actually speed up this video in 2x, but in real time this episode actually took me more than an hour to actually make, just because of the fact that I was going back on all of my ideas, seeing if one of these paths actually work, and only then actually using it. So definitely it took me way more time than I actually thought it would. Maybe this will be a trend for I guess the upcoming episodes. Anyway, forgot to add water channel right there, so I had to add it. Now that we have added the dark brown path here, I think I'll go ahead and add some flowers as well as leaves around this area. I also want to go ahead and add some shrubs at the end. I guess the main thing I'm focusing here is to have a small obscure path that's actually going to the shop. I might be able to achieve it with more trees in between the path here, but definitely I do have to see if it's possible. After all, if the path is too narrow, then the tree will not grow, and I might have to change the design once again. Alright, there we go, almost done. Just need to add a few more. I must say, even though this episode took me so long to actually create, it was pretty fun to design the island and figure out what kind of items I could have around here. At this point I realized that I do need more items. Items that would actually go well with the trees as well as my I guess forest slash village core island. At this point I'm not even sure if that's what it's happening in this space, but let's see after we design this part of the island if it does look like that. Anyway, I'll plant another one here, just a shrub, to kind of make sure that we have a path to kind of go through even with all of these items kind of obscuring it. Having a log fence right there kind of makes me feel that I have to remove the fence that is on top of the cliff, because it looks a bit redundant and I really don't want that. Maybe I'll be able to craft an item or have a potted plant placed over there. Anyway, that's all on the design for this part of this path where I did have both the trees. Before I moved on, I did go ahead and add a spiky fence right there as well as a item right here. Alright, back to it once again. I had to bring a item. Unfortunately, I was trying to replace this flower, but my pocket is actually full. Pretty bad. I guess I do have to be a bit careful about my pocket being full when I am designing. But if I do find an item that I have already planted, like this flower right here being kind of redundant, I might actually go back and remove it. Right here I replaced it with a potted starter plant, which I think looks much better. As for this path over here, I also wanted to go ahead and add an item. This time I went with a garden faucet. I think this shade of this garden faucet goes very well with the tree, so I think that looks pretty good. I also want to have an item around this tree. I'm not really sure which item would actually look good, but for now I don't really have any item I can replace over there. As for this path up right here, I definitely have to make some changes. Like I did mention, I went ahead and removed this vine. I'm gonna go ahead and place this moss ball, which I think will look much better. As for this space, I'm gonna place a planter. And alright, this does look good. Although I'm not really sure, I feel like something is actually missing in that path. If I do see something missing, I'll go ahead and change it up. Alright. Um, this cliff right here on top, I'm not really sure what design to go with. I have been thinking of kind of adding a bench or a chair or something over there on top to kind of sit and see this whole part of the island. Maybe I'll be able to do that. Maybe I could use a swing or just a log bench would actually look good as well. I do have to definitely craft that item though, so I'll go ahead and do that offline, and maybe we'll be able to design that part of the island in the next episode. As for today, I think that's all the design I had to make. At least we do have the front part of the island ready, and it definitely looks way better than what I actually imagined it to be, so I'm pretty happy with this one. Let me know in the comment section what you think of this part of the design. Do you think I have to add some more items, or the items that I do have now looks pretty good? Anyway, thank you all for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode as much as I did creating it. And if you did, please like and subscribe to my channel. If you'd like to support me more on Patreon, check out the links in my description. And I'll see you guys in the next one.